A journey to the killing fields of Cambodia, a look at the past and the future, and how Canadians are helping Cambodians rebuild their lives and their country. Welcome to Real West. I'm Rick Castiglione. This week, we go to Southeast Asia, where we explore a remarkable connection between Western Canada and the country of Cambodia. We took our cameras into the cities, villages, and countryside and found Canadians helping Cambodians, or Khmers as they call themselves, to build a better future. They are very focused on the future while trying to forget a very painful past, a past which includes the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge and years of Vietnamese domination. We begin with the past to show you some of where they've been, then we'll show you where they're trying to go. This is a series we call The Good Samaritans. Cambodia, 15 years after one of the worst genocides in history. More than 1 million people were slaughtered by the Khmer Rouge in just 3 years. The capital city of Phnom Penh was emptied of people. Those that could work were forced into work camps. Those that couldn't, and those that were considered unsuitable for communism, were killed. Among those who have now returned to Phnom Penh is Im Hai. She was just 6 years old the day the Khmer Rouge took over. Her mother and father disappeared. Hai and her baby brother went to live with a family friend in a town in the north. Her brother starved to death. The friend vanished. She was alone and eventually in a refugee camp. She believes her father, a university professor, may have been brought here to Tol Sleng, the S-21 prison, an interrogation and torture center of the Khmer Rouge. When the Vietnamese invaded Cambodia in 1978, they found bodies strapped to these beds. It has been left virtually as it was found. Bloodstains on the ceilings, cartridge cases for latrines. The leg irons are still bolted to the floor. Everyone brought here was photographed. Some were just children. Those that broke were forced to sign confessions saying they were spies or traitors. 21,000 people were tortured here. Their pictures line the walls of the main cell block. Only 7 of them are known to have survived. The Khmer Rouge considered anyone educated to be an enemy of their cause, unable to be retrained. Until recently, this part of the prison remained closed to outsiders. The second-floor holding cells, no bigger than a closet. We were allowed to just wander in to witness the remains of man's inhumanity to man. When the Khmer Rouge was finished with its torture, its brutality, it led each of its victims down this road. Those that could walk did. Those that couldn't were carried in trucks to their deaths at Chiang Ai. Chiang Ai was one of the killing fields, where skulls and clothing are now piled in an unlocked monument to remind Cambodians of what happened here. Bordering the rice paddies are mass graves. When it rains, clothing, bones, and teeth are washed from the soil. Cattle now graze around the pits where the bodies of men, women, and children were tossed. The only crime the children committed was that they couldn't work and slowed down their mothers. Hai has been here twice before. She walks through the fields, searching.
This is the 3rd time you've been to the killing fields.
Yeah.
Do you think your father might be?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
When you come and look through here,
Yeah.
are you looking for him?
I'm looking for my father. But sometimes I just think that maybe the scar of my father is over there. But I don't know which one.
One of those skulls.
The scar over there. Because many scars. I know that you don't know you really not feel how much I'm suffer, you know. It's not easy to live alone, and with a relative, something like that is difficult.
And when you come here?
Let's come here.
What do you think?
It's not, I cannot say anything. It's nothing to say anymore, because I don't want to recover again. What will happen in the past, it made me hurt again.
Why did the Khmer Rouge do this?
I don't know. I don't know why they do this.
Do you remember being a child and your family all together?
When I was a child, all my family is all together.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was it a happy time?
It's a happy time, but it's very short time to be with them. I know that my father, he liked me a lot.
How Hai has survived physically and emotionally is a miracle. It was in a refugee camp called Site 8, just over the border in Thailand, that she met a young Canadian man named Sean Campbell. He was working for a Christian relief agency at the time, and now runs a Calgary-based organization called Samaritan's Purse Canada. The camp is now closed, but the friendship that began there is still alive.
Yeah, Hai became a good friend. She was a good friend to many people on our team. And it's just, we felt for her because she was someone who had lost her whole family through the horror of the Khmer Rouge years. And really, since the time she was about 13 years old, was by herself. And because of that, you know, the Cambodian people, they formed very strong interpersonal relationships, and she did that with many on our team, and she became a very, very good friend. And ever since that time, we've maintained that friendship.
Sean still works on relief projects in Cambodia. Hai says she still wants to live here. She's still searching for answers, still searching for her family, though she knows she'll never find it.
How, you have no family left?
No.
No brothers, no sisters, no aunts, no uncles. And you've been by yourself since you've been how old?
12.
12 years old. Do you think Cambodian people want to forget what happened?
Yeah.
They don't want to remember anymore.
They don't want.
Think there'll be peace soon?
We don't know.
Can you ever forget?
Sometimes it's covered up by itself. It will never forget forever.
It's hard for the mind to comprehend the horror, the reality of what happened in Cambodia. Walking through the killing fields had a profound effect on our crew. I kept wondering how human beings could create this kind of brutality. And it's magnified by the fact that it was Cambodians killing Cambodians, their own people. When we return, rising from the ashes, Canadians helping Khmers into the future. In 1993, United Nations troops, including many from this country, helped the people of Cambodia through a democratic election. There is now a government chosen by the people. The UN troops have since left the country, and they left behind some stability, though no one's quite sure how long it will last. Vietnam and Thailand are powerful neighbors that both want a piece of what's in Cambodia. But now at least, Khmers have a chance. Arriving in Cambodia almost 2 years before the UN were the NGOs, the non-government organizations with their relief projects. Leading the way were Canadians. A Christian organization in Calgary teamed up with a compassion-filled man from Vancouver. They are helping Khmers with hygiene and medicine, helping the hundreds of thousands of people that have returned this year from refugee camps in Thailand and are relearning how to live on their own. This, then, is Samaritan's Purse and the Ratanak Project. The Sangkhe River, not far from the Thai border. People live in riverboats along its banks. Children play in the water. Families fish for supper. The river leads to the town of Battambang. The Khmer Rouge still terrorizes those who live nearby. 2 days before we arrived, they blew up a train, killing 16 people. A hole was blown in the town's main bridge. No one knows for sure who did that. Soldiers now try to protect the bridges as best they can. On the edge of the town is the district hospital. Few people come here anymore. There is little medicine. A young boy waits inside with his sisters and his mother. He is recovering from dengue fever. He stays because the family has nowhere else to go, and a nurse will eventually come by to check up on him. Much of the medicine that does exist here goes to the provincial hospital in Battambang, the largest in the area. Mostly, though, the wards just have beds without mattresses, a place to wait for the doctor. This child is 10 months old. Her name is Nari. Her parents have brought her by riverboat from a village called Tapon. She has malaria. The young parents have no money. The couple is worried, but at least in Battambang there is a doctor. To get here, they passed by a place called Noria. The clinic there was closed and opens only when a nurse comes to do checkups or inoculations.
This is the main road between Noria and Tapon. In fact, it's the only road. Most of the people who live along it have come from the refugee camps in Thailand. Some spent as many as 15 years in the camps, where everything they needed was given to them and within a couple of 100 yards. 365,000 have returned to Cambodia, mainly in this area, in the past year. And they now have to fend for themselves.
Mostly, they are farmers and fishermen. The returnees were given a patch of land and a small home for each family, if they wanted it. The children help in the rice paddies. For the time being, the Red Cross still brings some food to those who live in remote areas. People line up for hours in the stifling heat and humidity for their share. Where the road ends, our crew hiked to the village of Tapon, where Nari comes from. Our guide warns us to stay on the path. The jungle is mined by the Khmer Rouge. With us is Kim Ko, a relief worker who was trained in Regina as a missionary. On one of her excursions to Tapon with a nurse from Ontario, she found a 2-year-old girl in a tiny shack dying of malnutrition. When we arrived, the little girl was sitting on her grandfather's knee.
What would have happened to this child if you hadn't found her?
Oh, she could have died easily if you wait too long, because diarrhea all the time. It's just...
This is her mother?
Yeah, this is the mother. She has 6 children. See, the others are okay, you know, except this one, so we were wondering what happened.
Must have been very happy to see the medical people arrive to see the baby.
She's very, very happy and thanking God. Health needs, like when you see malnourished kids and diseases, skin diseases, diarrhea, fever, that's the most common among kids. They always see, if we come, they ask for medicines.
What do you teach them? What do you try to teach them?
Well, we're trying to teach the health workers, the Khmer health workers, to teach them about health, about nutrition, about hygiene. So that's the most important.
Back in Battambang is Brian McConaghy. He's a Canadian from Vancouver. In 1989, he saw a picture of a little girl in this hospital who died because the doctors here did not have the basic medicine required to treat her. He was so moved by what he saw that he began collecting medicine and supplies to bring to Cambodia. Within months, he had a shipping container filled, and he brought it to Battambang.
My personality is one that automatically gravitates towards the underdog. And in Cambodia, I found an entire nation of underdogs. They have suffered so much and required so much. And so in bringing some help to these people, I discovered that every little thing I do becomes a huge miracle to these people.
The name of the little girl that inspired him was Ratanak. He keeps the picture on his desk in Vancouver. McConaghy is a ballistics and forensic expert with the RCMP. Every year, he takes a leave of absence from his job and returns to Cambodia to oversee what's now called the Ratanak Project. With funding from Samaritan's Purse, he pays for nurses to go into rural areas to inoculate children and to teach Cambodians, especially the returnees, how to care for themselves.
When Pol Pot took over the country, he destroyed the infrastructure. So the country is struggling to rebuild a system of health care, a system of education, an economic system. So it's basically teaching Khmers how to survive themselves and providing the physical resources to do that.
And there is still a lot to do. While we talk, a child sits in the middle of the road beside the hospital. Children still play in the foul water by their homes. Pigs still wander freely through the villages. But there is medicine for Nari's malaria, and today, in Cambodia, there is hope. The hope is tempered somewhat in the northwest corner of the country by the continuing attacks of the Khmer Rouge. When we come back, heading into a new frontier for the Ratanak Project, Siem Reap and the ruins of Angkor Wat. Welcome back. I filed this final story on Cambodia from an area called Siem Reap. I met Brian McConaghy in a village there where there is no healthcare system at all. And I talked with the director of Samaritan's Purse Canada in a most unusual place. We discussed the need and the solution. The ruins of Angkor Wat, built entirely of stone, dragged here by elephants 1,000 years ago. Covering acres of land, it is one of the true wonders of the world. Sean Campbell, the director of Samaritan's Purse Canada, has been here before. The Calgary-based organization is playing an important role in the lives of Cambodians, recovering from 20 years of Khmer Rouge terror and Vietnamese domination.
Some of the poorest places on earth are here in Cambodia. Food is a problem. Medical aid is a definite problem. Even the creation of jobs, job stimulation, the economy, they're great problems here.
Where does your money come from?
Money comes from Canadians, people who have a particular burden for different parts of the world. There's a lot of Canadians who have some kind of emotional attachment, of course, to Southeast Asia because of the war in Vietnam and how that spilled over into Laos and Cambodia. We have a lot of Cambodian refugees in Canada, so that situation is well known to many Canadians. But the majority of our funding comes from Canadians, through churches, through corporations, through individuals who just see what's going on and become concerned and want to play a part in it, a direct part, by helping the people over here.
It's remarkable that around the ruins of such an advanced civilization, there is now such a need for help from the New World in the West. It's here in Siem Reap that Calgary-based Samaritan's Purse Canada and the Ratanak Project hope to come next. The area is almost safe enough now from the guerrilla forces of the Khmer Rouge to begin work.
For the foreign missionaries and medical people, getting to Siem Reap means a 7-hour drive over bridges that have been blown up and rebuilt, and roads that are crowded with people and full of potholes. Local workers going into the fields carry weapons. There is a constant threat of attack by bandits or the Khmer Rouge itself. And when the foreign relief workers get here, this is what they find: a broken down clinic made of mud, wood, and grass. It is the only clinic for an estimated 100,000 people. The water is contaminated. There are no doctors and no medicine. Machine guns and cannons surround the building to protect it. I asked the woman who runs the clinic who they're most afraid of.
She says the Pol Pot people.
And these weapons here are to protect the clinic?
Yeah, they're just here to protect the district headquarters. They're not taken anywhere else. She says the older man over there, he's the one who shoots them.
Pol Pot, the founder and leader of the Khmer Rouge, is still alive and believed to be hiding somewhere in this area. Brian McConaghy is also here. The 30-year-old Canadian man wants to bring his medical relief project, already working in parts of Cambodia, to Siem Reap.
There's basically no substantial health care being done in this area at all. There's no clinics that are up and running. The few medical personnel they have aren't trained properly. There's just so much to be done. I can't even itemize it for you, but it's something we'd like to start in terms of clinics, building some clinics, training staff, and getting a regular supply of medication into this area so we can upgrade health from the bottom up.
The people of Cambodia are rebuilding their entire country from the bottom up. And there is a real feeling of optimism and anticipation here while it's happening. And it is happening. Though a Canadian nurse told me in Phnom Penh that every time they start to feel real confident that the future looks good, somebody blows up another bridge. Still, this time the people have voted. They are in control. And yes, there is hope. We'll be back right after this.